This is what a tourist video of St. Croix is going to show you.
St. Croix is a beautiful place with beautiful people.
Spectacular.
It's paradise.
We're going to go for a swim?
Yes. Look at it. It's beautiful. You can't beat it.
It's just the perfect Caribbean island.
And this is what I'm going to show you.
Like right now, we're in a drought.
There's a lot of anger in the body of descendants of slaves.
There's a lot of sharks here.
They're becoming a little bit more aggressive now.
Same island, different lens. Which is real? Let's dive in. So a toast to the St. Croix community that's been so welcoming to me. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. So it's fair to say that when people come to the Virgin Islands, they're probably looking for paradise. So St. Croix is already this beautiful paradise. You've got jungles, you've got beaches. Turquoise water on horseback. It's a postcard. So what is paradise, really?
That's a loaded question. It's like, where do you begin?
All right, so here's an overhead pass. We have St. Thomas, this is where the tourists and the cruise ships are. St. John, where the national park is. And St. Croix, this is where the locals are. And right there, that's a little cruise ship, just for effect.
You've got St. Thomas and St. John, just a ferry ride away. We're 40 miles off to the south, so I've always said we're sort of an appendage off by ourselves.
Redheaded
We're
stepchild.
the red and we call ourselves the redheaded stepchild.
There seems to be this local rivalry between the islands of St. Thomas and St. Croix, and a little bit is of kind of like a sisterly nudging, and then a lot of it is a little bit darker.
When something bad happens, it's the Virgin Islands or they single out St. Croix. When something good happens, it's St. Thomas.
St. Thomas's power plant, I know this for a fact, is more antiquated and less efficient than St. Croix, but we cost share.
St. Thomas was fun. I went there with my sister. It was a really good time, but the pace is much faster.
It was known that that would be the cruise ship capital, and they would be the commerce island. We, on the other hand, have all this wonderful space, and so we would be the agricultural and the industrial island.
But all St. Thomas really has to offer, unfortunately, you know, if you really don't know, is things to buy and things to spend money to do. And, you know, St. Croix is more like you can come here and explore.
So the first thing that was kind of unexpected is how brown this island is. And there's supposed to be so much agriculture here. And the locals tell me it's normally supposed to look like a cross between Maui and Ireland. And right now with this drought they're in, it looks like Baja, California.
It's greener than this.
Is it?
Yeah,
No
it's
way.
way greener. Yeah, this is.
I'd say this is one of our longest droughts in probably about 5-6 years.
But let's stick to things that we have control over. So locals have the usual gripes here, like, for instance, tourists who check their manners, their common sense, and baggage claim. But there are also things that aren't as obvious. So what are some of the issues that affect St. Croix today?
Employment, yeah.
We've gone through a real economic crisis as of late. When our refinery closed in 2012, it changed the landscape of St. Croix.
Now this is a skyline you probably don't picture when you think of the Virgin Islands. The main bloodline of St. Croix. Now while oil refineries aren't likely to make it on a postcard, this place provided jobs for over 2,000 people. Now that it's gone, the middle class is going with it. And so that has to trickle down, obviously.
It's touched every facet of life.
So what's going to take its place? Tourism, right? Reefs? Yeah, maybe, hopefully. So to me, paradise means diving, and St. Croix offers some of the best diving in the world. And it's also a billion-dollar industry with tourism, with people coming in to see what your reefs have to offer. But when you look below the surface, sometimes what you find is a pretty harsh reality.
Tourists come, they snorkel, they don't listen to what guides tell them, and they walk all over the reef, and they kill the reef.
If the reefs die, the marine life disappears. Tourists go with it. If the tourists leave, the marine life recovers, but then there's no tourism draw and the islands lose money. That is the double-edged sword of actually protecting what needs protecting.
Hey, Kinga.
Good to see you. Wow.
Welcome.
Kemet is a local conservationist, works with the Nature Conservancy, and I was lucky enough to get to spend a day underwater with Kemet and see what he actually does here. And it's impressive work. So how healthy are the reefs here in St. Croix?
Well, the reefs here, as like reefs all across the Caribbean, aren't in the best state, and that's why we're doing the work that we're doing. You know, without reefs in the Caribbean, it's a completely different place. Our way of life is completely lost.
Now, reef colonies that were here when Columbus sailed by have disappeared in the last couple of years. And sure, they're growing back by about the width of a dime per year. One way St. Croix is fighting back is by building reef nurseries. So maybe it is up to us to make up the difference. I mean, after all, it is our fault.
Welcome to my paradise.
What are these?
These are our coral trees. We have 50 of them here at Cane Bay. Each of them hold about 50 corals. And the idea is that we can outplant, 2,500 to 5,000 corals each year and really fill in the areas nicely.
Are you gonna cut one? Gonna let me plant it?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I'm mixing the epoxy, and I'm gonna just clear off the patch on the reef here with this brush. Put the epoxy down, and all you need to do is stick the coral into the epoxy.
Just push it in?
Right there.
Oh, there it is.
Awesome. Great job, Kinga.
So everything around this is planted?
Yes, we outplanted this plot last year, and this is the growth in 1 year.
Oh, you're doing a good job. The marine life's already filling in. How long would it take for a reef like this to regenerate naturally?
You're looking at decades to over 100 years or so.
Yeah, you've got a lot to contend with.
That's not the only problem. Go ahead and get the spear gun ready.
Some unwelcome new locals to the reef have become major culprits as well. Lionfish. Now, you may know them as those regal-looking aquarium fish that screw like ferrets and trash everything in their path.
The first time I've seen a lionfish, actually seen one, was about 5 years ago. But now they're everywhere.
They wipe out anything that can fit inside of their mouth. As these reefs are prime developmental habitat for juvenile fishes, it's important that we get the lionfish off so that they serve as that.
Divers are actually encouraged to dive with spear guns and kill lionfish on sight. Where are we going, Kevin?
We're gonna cruise down the wall here and see if we can find a lionfish.
Oh, you're making me hungry. And in the effort of waste not, want not, they've become a new addition to the seafood menus here in St. Croix. And to be honest, they're pretty delicious.
Hi, Tamla.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Tamla is a renowned chef here on the island, and I had the chance to sample her lionfish. I have to say I was very impressed.
I'm excited. How are you going to prepare the lionfish?
A little olive oil, salt and pepper. They're going to be seared, and some local microgreens drizzled with just a light lemon herb vinaigrette. The whole dinner tonight will be local, straight from our farms here.
The farm to table is a very trendy thing these days, and it's a good kind of trendy. It's how food was for most of humanity. It's funny how you always go back to the basics.
The future of this island, I think, is through agriculture. There's also a large movement in food and restaurants. Like when you talked about farm to table, using local ingredients and fresh local fish.
Reef responsible
sustainable, of course.
So the buzz term that I keep hearing here that I really like personally is reef responsible. And what exactly does that mean?
In a nutshell, just you're catching the fish when it's in abundance.
Speaking of reef irresponsible.
Here we go. Here's the lionfish, Kinga.
Oh, nice, Kenneth.
Are you ready?
Yeah. But as a seemingly fair solution to a growing problem, there's a twist. Sharks. Yeah, look at the sharks know exactly what we're gonna do. Look at them. I mean, they really know that they're gonna get a free meal here.
Yeah, they've learned that the spear gun equals food.
There's a lot of sharks here. We have a rich population of sharks on the island.
I love that.
And we didn't used to have a lot of sharks. We've gotten an increase since the increase of the lionfish because they're being fed.
Speaking of being fed. Well, Well, the good news about the lionfish is that it's delicious. So, kill them and eat them. We go in?
Yeah, let's do that. Your call.
All right, here we go. I've got him.
Make sure you get him off the spear before the sharks come in.
He's bleeding, I can see it.
Good job, Kinga.
Oh, he's coming in hot, look.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Great. An interesting side effect of the lionfish problem is that the sharks have started to eat the lionfish that are being speared by divers. Now, it's important to note that they're not eating live lionfish, they're only eating injured or dead fish. So what's happened is that that's actually causing more interactions between sharks and divers, and we're changing the eating habits of major apex predators. How that's to work out in the future, we have yet to see.
All right, let's head up. On to the next adventure.
So what's your favorite thing to do on the surface, Kevin?
Well, the rainforest in St Croix is pretty special if you want to see something a little greener.
Sold. Whatever this is, I want to be a part of it.
Welcome to the oldest eco lodge in the Virgin Islands.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Now this is the prototype for paradise, right? Oh, wow.
Thank you, Carmen.
But there's also a very complex history that scars it.
Ready to go for a walk?
Yes, I am. Natalie is a local Crucian, an actual descendant of Captain Morgan. So who better to tell me about the checkered past of St. Croix than her? There are some beautiful pieces of poetic justice and injustice in St. Croix's history, aren't there?
Absolutely. We're approaching a ruin of one of the 8 von Scholten schoolhouses that was built in the early 1800s to educate the slave children. And that was just before the actual slave revolt, which gave all slaves their freedom, but their education unfortunately halted.
Hey guys, speaking of poetic justice, I think there's really something special about the fact that we're in a ruined schoolhouse with turtles here, representing kind of the slow growth and what you mentioned, the need for education. And it's coming slowly.
Good point.
So tell me about this that you're carrying, conch shell.
The conch shell, they're delicious. And also it's a musical instrument, or it's a sound off for revolt, which is what the slaves used before they revolted in the mid-1800s and actually thwarted von Scholten's governorship.
Yeah, you did it. Although I'm a little lightheaded. I mean, really, when you find yourself in a place like this, how could anything but paradise exist?
St. Croix has a historically bad rep. We don't get the best publicity when things go badly here.
We still carry the stigma of what happened in 1972.
1972, you know, you go back to Fountain Valley, you go back to Hugo, and a large part of that history was racially motivated.
So every place has an elephant in the room, and here I'm just gonna have to dive right into it. It's the crime.
Well, St. Croix gets a weird rap. Everybody thinks we're this crime-laden island when...
I've heard that. You do hear that. You do hear that the murder rates here are higher than in other places. And part of that, I personally feel like, is when people see this, they expect there to be nothing wrong.
There is not a body of locals on this island that are sitting around waiting for a boat or an airplane to land so that they can victimize their tourists. If anything, our lack of tourists should say that. There's crime everywhere, number one, you know that.
And I think that's the key. And that's what people forget when they come to paradise. There's an illusion of perfection.
And there's an illusion that it's imperfect, and that keeps a lot of people who are fearful away.
And in reality, it's all a package deal. It's common sense, isn't it?
It is common sense, that's well said. The crime, I think, remains in pockets.
And I got places I tell you, you won't catch me. Plain and simple. I'm sure where you're from, there's places that you won't go.
LA.
Exactly, and that's. But there's parts of LA that are just so beautiful. Like, why are more people discovering it?
A little discovery sounds perfect.
Hi, Kinga?
Yeah, you must be Jen.
Yeah.
Horses are a big deal here, and not just as a romantic way to tour the beaches. St. Croix has actually groomed some world-class jockeys.
We have a rich history in the sport of horse racing, and it's our biggest spectator sport here as well.
Wow, who's this?
This is Yoshi.
Hi, buddy. Can we get acquainted so I can hop on your back and go for a ride?
Jen Ola, who owns Cruising Cowgirls, is one of basically 2 cowgirls on the island, rescues horses, rehabilitates them, and then brings them out for tourists to ride.
Horseback riding is a boys' sport, man's sport here.
So we might currently be the 2 cowgirls on the island?
At this moment, we probably are the only 2 cowgirls on island.
I like that.
Horseback riding on the beach, that is the epitome of paradise in every sense that maybe one.
I saw horses starving to death, no water. I saw them hit by cars. We had one just recently that was beaten and hacked up with a machete.
Oh my God. And how did these guys come to you?
Yoshi came to us off the track, pretty much a walking skeleton when I got him. He definitely didn't want to be ridden. So, you know, he's made an amazing recovery in a year and a half.
A year and a half?
A year and a half in.
Look at him now.
I think the horses just aren't viewed the same way as they may be viewed in other parts of the world.
You know, this is kind of the stuff out of a brochure, turquoise water on horseback, but I think most people don't know that the Virgin Islands has a big horse history.
So we had what's like a native type pony left over from ships that came through over the centuries, and it was a smaller horse, kind of similar to the one I'm on. Then the cattle industry started, they started bringing in some quarter horses. And so you get horses similar to Yoshi. But then the cattle industry declined and the horse racing industry picked up. And so then we had an influx of thoroughbreds. So everybody wants their horse to now be a winning thoroughbred racehorse. And that doesn't work real well.
Now, so you have the really high-end horse culture here, but you also have the bush racing.
Exactly. And at the bush races, they'll take anything they can get their hands on. And so even though their heart may be in the right place, they just don't have what it takes to be able to maintain that horse.
So it really is a matter of changing the perspective of how horses are used and treated and educating these people on how to take better care of them.
Exactly, exactly.
It's part of our culture, man, and you know, we could do better, but as a society in general, we could do better with everything.
Of course. So tell me about your rescue. How many horses or animals in general do you have there?
We've done 33 horses. I don't know exact numbers on the dogs and cats, but it's been over 200 altogether.
You're like the animal saint of St. Croix.
I want everybody else to enjoy the same thing. He wants to go swimming. He's like, we're done with this. Pull Yoshi up out of the, otherwise he's gonna try.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Pull his head up and then turn him and walk him.
Come on, Yoshi.
So pull him up here.
That fully just made me cry. That's tears of joy.
If it's this much fun to discover an island on 2 horses, how about over 100?
Hi.
Wave?
Hi, how are you doing?
Great.
Let's go have fun.
All right.
The Wave runs the Tantan tours and takes you out to the secret spots that are a little harder to get to.
Ready?
Let's do this. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Look at this grass.
If you got something on your mind, you come out here. By the time you're going back, it's going to be a little bit better.
Oh my gosh.
Good things are hard to find, so we got to go look for it.
Well said, sir.
There's a tide pool right here.
push a little harder, go a little further, dig a little deeper to find paradise.
Yeah, dude, let's take a little break. This is called Mr. Happy, you guys.
So we've dissected St. Croix every which way, but there is a reason that all of you are here.
Before any of us answer, could you at least just look to the horizon?
I think you just answered for everyone.
I'm into art, and I like beautiful things, and this is as beautiful as it gets.
There's a spirit to this island.
And we are an island of survivors, always have been, Kinga.
I feel like St. Croix is a place that is trying to stick to its roots.
The more we can address what the serious threats are, at least the ones that we can control, I think we'll make a better place.
It's such a sense of community like no place I've ever lived.
You can't go hungry in St. Croix.
It's home. That's all it is, it's home.
Does anyone have a drink left so we can toast to home?
I got a lime.
We got a lime. Good enough. We're resilient, right?
Well, you know, our party doesn't have to end here. They're about to turn it up right here at Shoreline. Kurt Schindler's about to jump on and play some music, and there's lots of Cruisin' rum flowing, so I think we should all get some drinks and, you know, walk it up tonight.
I like that plan. You know, the truth is that paradise, as far as perfection, doesn't actually exist anywhere. It's a state of mind. And for me, right now, I'm in paradise.